In October 1953, the Allies are on the back foot in Scandinavia. They have launched a massive counterattack from Denmark with multiple naval landings, but they have been defeated. That said, I am going to station some mountain troops here in the mountains of Norway just to deal with any further Allied incursions in the area, which means that the regular infantry and the armored forces are going to have to deal with the rest of Sweden on their own, which should not be a massive problem. We have a little bit of fuel, so the next attempt here is going to be to breach and close off this encirclement here. And the next big question is, where are we going to get supply from? And I think the answer is not from anywhere, because there is no supply in the region. So having taken Göteborg after heavy battles has given us a bit of an advantage in the south, and we can once we've destroyed the forces in the north, we can probably have another attempt at trying to get to take Stockholm, but it's going to be a tough call out of supply. So for now, we'll just content ourselves with cutting off Allied forces, and we will try to wrap this up before the winter. And then once the river crossing divisions are going to be completed, then we will make an attempt at counter-attacking into Denmark. But until then, we'll deal with the Allied forces here. And then afterwards, the next big strategic action is going to be in Central Europe. But I have seen lots of German troops making their way towards the Soviet borders. So I don't know what the Germans are planning. They've sent the 25th Panzer Division here. And for now, we are supplying them, because I have actually we are not supplying them, so we should do that. I have increased the supply networks here, so let's see if we can manage to supply the Germans here as well. Might have to upgrade some things, but right now our biggest problem is the lack of fuel, that and manpower. So I actually have to slowly start demobilizing some divisions. I'm gonna mostly go for the 7th Army here, because the Germans should be able to hold Poland by themselves at this point. So I'm gonna start disbanding some divisions here, and returning people from the front lines for a change, just to make sure that we are maintaining a viable reserve after the offensive operations. So let's maybe get one of these divisions as well. Eventually, I want to get rid of most of the infantry divisions that are holding Poland for Germany, and again, Baltic operation should really help with that thing. But for now, we are going to get ourselves. We actually do have a close air support wing at this point, but it's still in training and it's still under strength. So we might not necessarily be using that yet. But I can bring the enemy air strength in Sweden at this stage is marginal. So I'm going to bring three air wings over for aerial superiority, just 3 fighter wings, and then we will once that is established, and I think we have established that pretty much, and yes, I'm sending a lot of equipment over to Germany. Then I will start the offensive operations. In fact, I am not certain. Yeah, I want to push through here, so we will need some additional firepower here, and in that regard, we'll leave the tanks there. We'll send the other 2 tank divisions over, and then we'll cut through here. See if we can close the encirclement and catch catch all these Swedish divisions plus the remaining Allied troops there on the front lines. And there we go. And the tank division here can assist, and then I'll just cut them off here and close that. That should do the trick. And the infantry can follow up. Once we've extended the front lines. Aerial superiority is granted. We're shooting down. Enemy planes. Air detection could be better. Okay, they are sending reinforcements in terms of more fighter wings, so let's double our commitment. There we go. I just want to make sure that we have sufficient firepower in the air to shoot down anything on the Allied side that could possibly interfere with things. And I think we've already broken through, so they will obviously try to reinforce with the troops from the north, but we should be able to get through that relatively quickly. Infantry is following up as we go. So the tanks can keep pushing. Okay, yeah, that should work. And with freshly fueled armored vehicles, as well as with the Air Force up in the air, I think that is all going relatively smoothly. But of course, they're trying to get out from the north, and we do have to wait until the reinforcements have followed up. So do have a tank division here, can assist. Infantry is following up, and then I think especially the troops in the north are not going to get out of this one. Yeah, well, we've taken the position, which means now we can push in with infantry from the north, and we can use the infantry around here to close that. There we go. And here we'll counter-attack them there. Tanks can hold that for now. Just save up some fuel and support the attack. There we go. That should do the trick. And then we have a whole bunch of divisions that are we have a whole bunch of divisions that are going to be destroyed. Plus we have again shortened the front line. The bigger problem is going to be supply, because I think none of my supply hubs here is going to be in range. So I think the next push is going to be through the plains here towards Stockholm, and we'll cut off Allied reinforcements as they go. And at first we have to clean up the remaining positions there and do some research for the sake of doing research. There we go. Okay. So the next First Army assault. Let's adjust the front line since we're at it. The next First Army assault is going to be attempting, and we're going to get all these divisions here, is going to be an attempt to take Stockholm. We'll see how that's going to look like supply wise, but for now we're just clearing out the remaining units here, and then the front lines are going to be significantly shorter. And that should be another glorious victory. So far, the Scandinavia campaign really has been going well. And I am going to once again ground the Air Force. Except for the close air support wing, they can keep exercising. And almost there. That does it. Okay, and then the infantry divisions can make their way up to the new front lines. Okay, and that was what is this? 30, 60, 60,000, 60, 70,000 plus divisions that we've taken. The bigger problem now, obviously, is that we have no more supply here. And that is sort of part of the issue. Now we could try to move a little further north, actually, but I'm kind of tempted to try and connect here. So let's see if the tanks, despite having no supply, can make a push happen. Alternatively, we could try to cut off the Allied divisions here. That would be because that's a lake. So if we can cut them off at the lake, that might actually not be terrible. We do have support here, but we might have to do some. Okay, we can take this position that cuts off the lake at this point, and then try to move and then move the tanks to Göteborg and cut off the lake on the other side. Yeah, we'll do that. So let's take the position here, and we'll reinforce with some infantry here. That should not be a... Yeah, we've already pushed them out. So for now, we get the tanks to hold here, while the infantry is moving up. And we need some more infantry. Yeah, we got some more infantry coming in. So this should be able to hold without too much problems against the American counterattack. And then once the infantry has moved in, then we'll bring and the front lines have stabilized. Then we can bring the tanks. Oh, okay, they are counterattacking towards Göteborg now. They're realizing the threat, the danger that they're in. So the next move is going to be to break through the out of supply lines here, cut off the troops in the northwest of the lakes, and finish those off. We just have to make sure that we're getting everybody in their right places. Okay, I do need some infantry support here though, however, while the counterattacks are running. And okay, that should do the trick. I'm gonna delete the front line for now, and I'll move. Yeah, we'll move the tanks once the infantry has filled out the front lines. Okay. How much longer are we going to be in terms of amphibious tanks? It's going to take a year. That is relatively long. What's happening to my production lines? I should be... Where's the crocodile? Making 2 a day. These things are expensive by the looks of it. So we do have... we'll give it a couple more factories if we can get some. But that is going to take a while, so well, we'll have to wait for that. Aluminium, can we get more from the Germans? No, that's as much as we're going to get, so not much we can do about that. Infantry is moving into place, good. So the tanks can take up position at the south bank of the lake here. And cut through here, cut them off at the lakes and finish them off there. The other option that we have is pushing south towards Malmö and cutting off their southern ports. It just becomes a problem of having to supply that all. Talking about supply, I am going to need more better railways. So Göteborg Oslo needs to happen. And that needs to happen now. So while we're building up our fuel reserves a little bit more, let's improve our railway network in the south, and the tanks are moving over while the infantry is holding positions. Unfortunately, yes, we are out of supply here, so while they are getting supply from Stockholm, Norrköping, and obviously Malmö in the south, there's no other way to really to take them on, except for chipping away at their strength and trying to deal with the inevitable reinforcements. One important push in the south that we can actually make is to cut off the crossing at Copenhagen, because that means they cannot as easily relocate their troops. I mean, they can still ship them through the ports, but they cannot use the crossing anymore. So that would be one possible action we can take. Okay, everybody seems to be in place, and We do have some out of supply infantry divisions holding the north bank. Once the tanks have arrived, then we're going to launch the next assault out of Göteborg. How long is the railway? That's going to take a little bit of time, until about 2 weeks. So let's have a quick look around if there's anything else we need to worry about. Still vast forces here at the Danish positions. So not an awful lot, but everything else seems relatively quiet. The Soviets, by the way, still haven't capitulated. All right, I'll be back once we are in place for the assault along the lake here, and the attempt to cutting off counterattacks actually, and the attempts at cutting off enemy divisions around Göteborg and destroying some of the reinforcements. Okay, tank divisions are ready. Allied Air Force is active over southern Sweden, so once again we'll get 6, 7, 8. Let's get fighters up in the air over southern Sweden. I think we can get the close air support wing actually to do actual close air support over southern Sweden as well at this point. I think that's a fair assessment. We are getting attacked here by some infantry, by some armored divisions that are trying to break out, so we cannot really wait much longer. So the plan for the tanks is to cut them off here with some fire support from the infantry behind it. Just making sure that the tanks are getting in first, and then the infantry can add their firepower to that. But we should be able to cut through these relatively starving divisions here. We'll just pin them in the north to make sure they are not reinforcing that. There's a lot of American divisions here in the north. And once the tanks have broken through, then we'll send some infantry after them. Once the tanks have broken through, then it's not a... and then we can stop that again in the north. So meanwhile, the infantry in the north of the lakes will have to hold for now, but the armored divisions are going to loop through and destroy the cut-off divisions here as they go. So that's all happening, and we'll just have to make sure they don't get out of there before the tanks have moved in. And we'll see if we can actually overrun the American divisions that are retreating here. Potentially, we just have to get our troops through. Okay, we'll stop the pinning attack in the north for now, because they're actually sending too many divisions, defeating too many divisions in the encirclement there. The tanks have overrun the retreating American troops, and are now going to clean up the encircled divisions northwest of the lakes, and relieve the beleaguered infantry that is trying to hold out of supply here against the Allied counterattacks. And then again we have the supply question. So we can either keep moving south and destroying Allied troops on the way to Malmö, or we will try to move on Stockholm. I'm kind of keen to move on Stockholm. The problem is obviously that we don't really have a good way of doing it. We could take Norrköpping after destroying the divisions here. That would be possible. And maybe that's a good way to approach Stockholm from the south. So maybe we'll make a push towards Norrköping once the railways have been improved in near Göteborg as well. And we should have the railway line here under our control once the tanks have dealt with these divisions. I don't think they can retreat. They should not be able to retreat. Can they retreat? They shouldn't be able to retreat. We'll see. Infantry is, they're not able to retreat. Infantry is following up. Interestingly enough, it does not count as being encircled, probably because they have the lake, but they have nowhere to go. So these American divisions are going to be destroyed. There we have it. And that means the road towards Norrköpping should be relatively open at this point. Actually, it's this railway. No, this is a railway line towards Norrköpping. So we can attempt a push here towards Norrköpping, get that connected. But again, I'll have to wait first for the infantry to follow up. So we will get the 1st Army divisions lined up along the railway line in the north here, and with a goal of taking Norrköpping through the open ground. The problem is going to be supply here, obviously, but well, while the infantry is following up, we are going to start. We're going to start the push as quickly as possible, while the tanks still have some level of supply, and see if we can make the break towards Norrköpping here through the open plains. We will need infantry divisions to follow this up, so we are going to start sending infantry in as well. There is an option to cut them off in the north, but that doesn't really give us anything because we'll still be out of supply. So I would like to use my remaining fuel and supply to try and force the breakthrough here and see if we can get across the plains. If we can't, then we will have to chip our way forward. But obviously, furious counterattacks from the Americans are happening. Just have to be careful that the armored divisions are not getting cut off. I will leave the one armored division that is very low on organization back, and see if it can regain a little bit while we're waiting for the infantry to follow. And then we will launch the operation towards Norrköpping, which isn't going to get us the railway connected, but we can probably construct that relatively quickly. They are counter-attacking quite fiercely here now, so I do have to be careful that my armored divisions don't get, because they're tying down my infantry, that my armored divisions don't get cut off. So we will launch the attack on Norrköpping. You do not need to push through that. You can literally just... we can try to widen the front lines a bit here and see if we can make a push at this direction. But I think we have Norrköpping under control. Now all we need is the railway lines. So this push is useful but not 100% necessary. And Norrköpping, even by itself, should net us some supply in the area. So let's see if we can secure the lines here a little bit. Make sure nobody breaks through. How's the air situation? Yeah, they are losing so many planes in the air here. I'm just curious, who are we actually fighting? France, Czech, Swiss planes, and Japanese planes. So zeros over Sweden. That's what we're looking at. Okay, I think we are able to take Norrköpping. And we might be able to push the Japanese out of the forests here as well. Do need to defend here now. Make sure we're not getting cut off. And they are rushing reinforcements in. So I think this push here is not happening. So while we are... Okay, they have... Okay, no. You stay there. You stop the attack. And we need... that might just... They might have just reinforced it enough that we can't take Norrköpping. Okay, we'll have to defend ourselves first, while waiting for some infantry to catch up. That's very unfortunate that they managed to bring some troops in, but they're furiously counterattacking along the whole line here, and we'll have to unfortunately wait for these American divisions to finish for that American attack to peter out. We'll send the other tank okay, we'll have another launch here, trying to widen the front lines with support from that tank division. Okay, send the tanks against Norrköpping again. and see if we can break this. But I think at this point the Americans have reinforced, and we might not be able to break through here anymore. That is very unfortunate. Anything we haven't researched yet? Let's do signal companies. Okay. See if the tanks can regain a little bit of their organization for now. But we are very much out of supply at this position. And there are too many American divisions in Norrköpping. We may have to retreat from this if we can't make the breakthrough, because there's just too much supply lacking. I'm going to send the last remaining tank division over, and we'll wait for the defenders to get a false sense of security. While the Air Force is... Okay, they are sending significant forces now, so I'm going to get all... fighter wings active now as well. Because they are definitely contesting us in the air at this point. We'll wait for the tank division and a fresh infantry division to arrive, and then we will launch another attempt at Norrköpping. And see if we can make that happen. We'll just draw some supply from it if we can take the port. But first, these divisions have to move out, and I need the tanks in place for some firepower here to make this happen. 2 divisions here, some more fresh divisions following. So that'll take a while, because we are pretty much out of fuel, I think. So whatever fuel we can cart here with horses, we do have 2 tank divisions that are okay in terms of. I think that's as good as it gets. Let's launch another attack and get the infantry to support that. And once the other tank division arrives, we'll send that in as well. But yeah, we are not getting very far. We are very low on supply, and we are attacking into a forest which is less than ideal for the tanks and more ideal for the defenders. Okay, we're not getting through there. Instead, we might try to launch another assault here. I'll leave 1 infantry division to defend, and support that from the other side, and see if we can widen the front a little bit to give us a better angle against Norrköpping. And we let the tanks recover what they can with the limited fuel supply and ammunition supply that we can bring in. And if that all doesn't work, then we'll retreat and have another attempt in a different direction. Okay, naval invasion in Rostock is something I will need to deal with. So let's get my tank divisions north and retake Stralsund. Should not be a massive problem. We can get the heavy tanks involved, gives them some combat experience. They don't have much else to do, so let's get them over. How is the operation looking here? Not good. We're not making this push. Okay. Stop the attack. There's still 1 division that's moving off. 2 American divisions holding Norrköpping at this point. Get me the tanks over, and we'll have 1 more attempt once the Dutch East Indies defenders have left. But we are very low here. I might need to. Given that we're starting to have aerial superiority, I might have to build some transport planes. Let's get some factories on that once we have some constructed, and get some transport planes built, because I think we're good with 15 factories here. There we go. Yeah, once we have some, we'll build some transport planes. We can use them to in these kind of out of supply situations, now that we actually have aerial superiority over northern Sweden and are shredding the Allied Air Force. But I do want to have 1 more attempt at Norrköpping. Still a lot of divisions passing through. I'm just going to wait for the tank division to make its way over, and then we will attempt another break against Norrköpping and see if we can make that push. Otherwise, we'll retreat from this line and work on some more encirclements in the north, if we can possibly do that. But without supply, it's going to be really difficult. So it's still a substantial amount of troops along the northern flank here. And without supply, that is going to be relatively hard. And while we do have one close air support wing, it's not going to be doing an awful lot of damage. So let's wait for the tank division to make its way over very slowly, and then we will launch a final assault against the American defenders in Norrköpping. See if we can break that. And yeah, we're not breaking this position here, and we do have to be careful not to be cut off. So I might send an additional division here, because the Americans are sending a huge amount of troops here at this point. So including tanks and everything else. No, you please stay. No. I need... Yeah, that's exactly what I was afraid they were going to do. Yes, the Americans have launched a massive counterattack, and we will have to fall back. The lines have gotten stretched too much, and the Americans have actually probably gotten the better of us. We do need to fall back the armored divisions here, and we do have to call a last stand to make sure that the infantry is holding. Yeah, the Americans have sent in significant reinforcements and are attacking our overstretched lines here with massive forces. So we do have to fall back from the supply lines into an area where we can actually operate. We might be taking some losses here, but I do want to make sure I'm not losing my armored divisions. So the infantry will have to hold despite the desperate situation, and we'll do what we can. We're trying to get the tanks out from here, and trying to get the infantry to retreat as well. But yeah, this situation cannot be held. The Americans have shipped in reinforcements and have significant troops now. And we are out of supply, so yeah, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to retreat from here once the infantry has made its way out. Then we will retreat from this position as well into where we potentially have supply. So we'll relocate the tanks to Göteborg for rest and for R&R, and make sure that make sure that we're holding the line, stabilize everything, and then we will attempt that again. So infantry is retreating. Tanks need to manage to get the retreat first and get there. Infantry still needs to hold while the tanks are retreating. But I do need to get my armored divisions out of here. So once you have made your way out, please retreat further towards supply areas, and the infantry will cover the rear while we're doing that, and then we'll fall back from this position as well, because this is not something we can hold against a... Look at the amount of divisions that they've pulled in here. Not something we can hold. So just have to make sure the tanks get out. Safely. We will already delete the front line and get the armor to fall back to Göteborg for the next assault operation. We just have to get these two tank divisions out here before the infantry falls. But I think I think they're making it. Keep falling back, please. Keep falling back and get out of there. And then once the tanks are out safely, we'll retreat the infantry as well, and then we can move south, and we'll shorten the front lines here a little bit, to an area where we have supply. And might have to give up the northern bank of the lakes, but that's something I'm willing to do. So Okay. Yep, so that operation was not successful. We almost made it, but substantial American counterattacks or Allied counterattacks have caused us to having to fall back in a bit of a disarray, really. So we've overstayed our welcome, overstretched our capabilities, and we're going to have to pull the Air Force down as well, because we are running out of fuel. So stop the operation, stop the air operations for now. Everybody just retreat out of this. And in fact, I want the tanks. Once we get the tanks out, then the infantry can fall back too. So we'll fall back to lines where we have supply. Hold everything else, and then launch another attack near Göteborg. I think that's going to be the better option. Okay. Tanks are making it out, so we can start falling back the infantry as well. I just want the armored divisions out safely before doing that. Okay. Tanks fall back further. And move towards Göteborg. Okay, tanks are on the move, which means the desperate retreat here of the infantry can also happen. We'll cede this position here, and no, stay there. I might have to just do some defensive line shenanigans for the time being to make sure they don't actually try reinforcing this position. So you defend here, tanks are falling back, and everybody else fall back from the forward positions until we have supply again. So the interesting question is going to be, given that Göteborg is sort of at its limits here, trying to supply the lines, I'm not sure how far we have to fall back. So I might already get these divisions to fall back here. And we do need, yeah, that's 5 infantry divisions. They can fall back here, and then we'll reassign them to the lines once we have everything under control. You can reinforce that. We should be able to hold that here against the Allied attacks, and we're falling back. Yeah, so 2 meters forward, but that was a bridge too far. And what have we lost here? Why are we sinking? Why are we sending convoys through the Baltics again? I do not understand. Anyway, no convoys in the Baltics, please. Okay, sending reinforcements here. A couple of divisions back. Yeah, so that was a bridge too far. We will fall back to more defensible positions, and we'll get the tanks out of here towards Göteborg, and they can. They do need to recover a little bit, but we will attempt. We will attempt to make a break towards Malmö and cut off the reinforcements in Copenhagen, because my guess is that the vast reinforcements that I get 2 divisions, please, to stay here. My guess is that the vast reinforcements the Americans have been carting in have crossed over from Malmö. So taking down that line might be this is a river crossing here, unfortunately, but taking down this crossing near Copenhagen at least might be a good way of cutting off or making reinforcements into Sweden a little bit harder. Have we dealt with the naval invasion? Yes, we have. Okay, so you can fall back again from these positions and get back to what you were doing previously. Yep. So in the next episode, we will reorganize. We'll reorganize our tank divisions here. And I think I am going to fall back from this position as well. So get me these divisions on that. There we go. Let's fall back to where we have some supply, and then we'll redistribute the. We'll redistribute the infantry. They can have this position. That's fine. We'll hold here, and we should be within reach of Göteborg, hopefully. But then we'll redistribute the divisions more across the front line here. In fact, I don't think we need that many. I think 2 divisions is going to be enough, and we do not need that many divisions here, so we can also get yeah, that's better. Okay, 3 divisions north, 2 divisions south, that should be enough to hold, and we'll shorten the front line up to here. There we go. Okay, yeah, that should be sufficient. We'll give ground, and we'll plan the next offensive in the south here. We'll try to see if we can make a push and cut off Copenhagen and the reinforcements that the Americans have sent through, and make it just so much harder for them to do that in the future.